Wendy was tired of being at the bad hotel because look at Monica.
Wow.
So JWill is now with us. So we got some JWill to talk a little NBA playoffs, which is what we will do. And we're going to start with the game of the night, Thunder Spurs. San Antonio trying to even a series before they go back to Bricktown in Oklahoma City. Early on, this was kind of an indication of what it was going to be like for Victor Wembanyama last night blocking Chet Holmgren.
He got off to an outstanding start. So he gets a 3 to start, then the block on Chet, which he loves picking on Chet, and you could just feel his presence right from tip-off.
Devin Vassell, block, down court, Wembanyama. It was the defensive intensity last night that paced San Antonio. Then here, De'Aaron Fox. Well, that was...
How about just like tip it over your head? What other human can make a play like this? So he missed the tip, so let me just tip it back over my head.
Oh, you thought that was good?
Yeah.
Watch this other human do this.
Vassell, Wembanyama, I think he's going to go from midcourt.
All right, so the highlight's impressive in and of itself, but that looked like a routine jumper.
He practices these and misses them all the time. That's the funny part.
I mean, absolutely crazy first half for Wemby. 22 points in the first half, had 26 in all of game 3. Spurs by 12 at the half. Early third, now they're up 16. Castle picks off Hartenstein. We go the other way.
Yeah, Kevin Weeks would call that a back check. That was a great steal, and that's been the story of this game. Normally the Thunder do this to you, but points off turnovers, a massive stat for the Spurs in this game.
Turnover, they were just so stingy defensively. I mean, they held Oklahoma City, which, by the way, who scores points in bunches, to their second lowest postseason point total.
Yeah, they haven't been this low in scoring in 6 years. It just shows you the defensive impact that the Spurs put on this game. We show a lot of offense here, of course, but really there's a lot of great defensive plays by the Spurs. They locked it down in this game to even up the series.
And because of it, we go back to Oklahoma City tied. It's been sensational for Victor this postseason. Yesterday, he joined Bill Walton in 77 as the only player since blocks became official in 1974 with 300 points, 150 rebounds, and 50 blocks in their first career postseason. Walton led the Blazers to a title that year. Wemby, however, not getting ahead of himself just yet.
We didn't do nothing unexpected. But the truth is that we had never been in this kind of situation before. It was our first deficit. And we just responded, but it was nothing amazing. It wasn't magic. We just did what we needed to do.
They just punched us in our face early. It's 2 games in a row. They've come out the aggressors. Last game we were able to course correct. And tonight, we just didn't do so.
All right, JWill, we've got a tied series in a Western Conference Finals. What was your biggest takeaway from last night?
It was about the defensive coverage changeup, guys. I mean, there was no more hoping that OKC was going to miss threes from the outside. They were bracketing SGA off pick and rolls, and they were fighting over every screen. And at times, it felt like there were 8 players on the court. And the thing that you love about this is that they were all anticipating getting a ton of defensive plays with cat-like reflexes. Whenever OKC took their eye off the ball, there was a spur in the gaps. They forced 17 turnovers. They got 25 points off those turnovers. And this last play, run that last play back, guys. In game 3, they would have double-teamed that or blitz that. They stayed at home. They used Wemby as a free safety, and they stayed at home to 3-point shooters. They stunned it. They got back. And, guys, I'm going to say this about Castle. Obviously, people are going to talk about Wemby, and he deserves a lot of praise, and Vassell as well, right? But Castle reminds me of the 2026 new grind father. He's like the new Tony Allen of the NBA. You just look at how he sustains contact 24/7 and how he stays disciplined. Yeah, he might turn the ball over here or there more than what he does offensively, but defensively, guys, that attention to detail and how he stays up in the pocket of SGA constantly meeting him with physical force, and that was a major difference maker in this game to me.
Yes, let's stay there for a second because role players in any series have to free up the stars. Is that what helped Wemby last night?
Well, of course. Well, Wemby was the second line of defense, but exactly what Jay's talking about. We showed this earlier on. 828, if you please, because this is exactly what Jay's talking about when it comes to bracketing, when it comes to picking him up here. Look how he has no room to go. Look at Castle. No. You have no airspace whatsoever. You're going to force into a bad shot. You force into a grenade. Now watch the dive. This is the best part. The next play energy. You get the stop. You get the shot clock violation, not because of the defensive part there, but because The play wasn't over until you got that basketball. They dove on the floor after it. You just saw a very aggressive defensive demeanor by this Spurs team. That's the competitive response that Mitch Johnson and Greg Popovich, by the way, was looking for.
This though, Barry, has been the thing that makes the Spurs so uniquely qualified to play against the Thunder all season long. Because as much as you centerpiece Victor Wembanyama, and rightfully so, the thing that makes the Thunder who they are is how well they can defend. And outside of Victor, when the Spurs are playing their best ball, they are able to defend at multiple positions with that same energy. And obviously, Castle in particular, after having some emotional moments, we'll call them, in Game 3, was ready to respond here in Game 4.
So, and Jay,
Monica, just off your note, Matthew, I have to say real quick, Monica, defending while being disciplined without fouling.
Yeah.
How about in losses, free throw attempts? In losses for the Spurs, OKC is averaging 19 free throw attempts per game. Okay? Like, so in wins, they're averaging 29. So last night, like, they kept them off the free throw line because they were defending without fouling. And that's a major difference as well in how the game is being called.
So you look at this and the energy they had to put out last night, because you can't go back to Oklahoma City down 3-1 or you're cooked. You expend the energy, you get to 2-2. Have you seen enough out of Wemby in the first 4 games of the series that he can sustain it, but that he's up for the challenge of being the guy to do it?
Well, he knew going into this game that he had to, right? Like, he had the great Game 1, and that set the tone for the series. But what was important is that he understood exactly what you just said. At his young age, he understood we can't lose this game. And I have to be the one to do it. You know, the story goes, De'Aaron Fox told us, Greg Popovich was waiting for the team in the locker room after Game 3 and said, that's not who we are.
Right.
That we have a higher standard. And Wembanyama, for a young player, took that to heart and understood that it's about me, that I have to be the guy. And his quote after this game was, I'm here for it. So it just shows you that he already, as a superstar, understands that what I do sets the tone for the rest of the team. And his tone setting at the start of this game at both ends of the floor, of course, this shot was kind of a culmination of all of that in that first half. And I feel like it let you know that he understood the assignment and how important this game was. Now, game to game, he's spending a lot of energy. So that's what we have to see is, can he carry it from game to game? But he, in a very important game, one of the first pivotal games of the series, he did it.
JWill really wants to get in there.
Matt, can we just say it? Can we say what we're all thinking out loud, right? And sometimes it's not going to be politically correct. He has the makings of potentially the greatest player we've ever seen. Like, I'm not going to say his resume is going to beat Jordan.
Right.
I'm not saying he's going to be 6-0 in the finals. But 7'4",
it's all there.
Kevin Durant like potential on the ground, shooting ability. He has the temperament of the greatest players you love, the Kobes, the Michaels. Like, even after the game where he drops 33 points and they get a win, he's like, it's our first time in elimination. That's how he has the likings of everything you want.
Yeah.
Just match all the greatest abilities of all the greatest players together, and that is Victor Wembanyama. Now, whether it actually comes to fruition or not in the loom of championships is another question, but just the physical and mental attributes, come on. The makings of the greatest player we've ever seen.
Monica?
Yeah, it's hard to argue against that, Jay. I think for me, in the immediate, though, right, how is he able to respond? Because, yes, what your mind tells you, your body will follow. But we've also watched in this series, after his best outputs, we're all watching, and you're like, he left a lot in that last game. I'm not sure if he's got it for this one. And it's not as if he's going up against a squad that is not defending their championship title, right? And so I'm really curious, when this thing goes back to OKC and Dagnall and those guys get their legs back under them, one, for the Thunder, how much do those injuries impact how deep they can actually go and be productive? And what adjustments will they make around Victor Wembanyama? But you're right, Jay. If he goes into ball games and decides he's going to have 20 and 20, like, you're at his mercy, basically.
We've seen it a number of times. Even in this series, you watch, you're like, well, who's going to defend that? And, I mean, you can slow him down as much as you want, but JWill, he's got everything it takes to be one of the most dominant players in the league's history. We'll leave it there. We'll get back to the